Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode. And I've got a guest for you today, Cailen Ascher. And she's an entrepreneur, successful online business owner, really family focused. And she's a business coach and group program expert. So today you're going to hear about, running an online businesses, coaching, masterminds. And I'm really happy to have her on the show for a lot of the females in the audience, how you can be a mom and grow a six-figure online business. Kaylin's the one to ask. So, Kaylin, welcome.
Thanks, Chris. So glad to be here with you.
Yeah, I know we talk about your journey and your story, your why, and and how you can help the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to share. So as Chris shared, I am a business owner. I'm a business coach, and I've been coaching since 2015, so almost 10 years now. And how I got into that space was I always knew from the time I was a kid that the traditional route of, getting a 9 to 5 job just wasn't going to be the right fit for me. So after graduating college, I was feeling into what was this life going to be like for me. I started an interior design company. I taught yoga for a number of years. And what I realized as I was teaching yoga is I had so many other teachers who were, had been teaching far longer than I had, coming to me and asking, "Hey, you have a website and you've been landing these cool gigs and we see you marketing yourself. Like, can you help us? Can you coach us and teach us how to do what you're doing to build, not just be a yoga teacher, but have a yoga business?" And that was my first kind of experience of dipping my toe into the coaching world. And then after my daughters were born, I shifted away just from working with yoga teachers to women and a couple select amazing men and coaching them about starting online businesses, particularly translating their skill set, life experience, work experience into a coaching program.
Yeah, I love that. And I have a lot of coaches on the show. It's really interesting. And so I really like your pitch. And I'm always interested in these creative pitches. And you have a pitch how to make 100K a year with one Zoom call a week. I know this is, there's a lot more to it, but talk about that and what goes into that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the essence of a group coaching program. When I first started coaching, I was doing one-to-one coaching and I loved it because it gave me great experience. But what I soon realized, it wasn't a match for the life that I wanted with my family. It was sort of like having a job. I had these back-to-back client calls and my days were filled with work. And I was like, there's got to be a different way of doing this work and having an impact and helping people, but not in a way that drains me so much. And so I realized as a client, I was investing in group programs and masterminds and wanting to be in a community with other amazing individuals on the rise while also having access to a coach, to a mentor. And that was sort of a light bulb moment. That was, I think, back in 2018. It's like, why am I not offering group programs? Why don't I have a mastermind? Why am I, taking these things, investing in these things, but not offering them to my clients? And that was the shift and the turning of the tides. And obviously, as you said, there's a lot of other components that go into building a successful business, but it's really challenging if you've got a full client load, back-to-back client calls, and also all the business stuff, all the admin things, the marketing, the sales. Having instead a group program where you have one call a week with your cohort of clients. And yes, you've got those other things to do, but you have so much more space in your schedule for them at that point.
Yeah. And so kind of talk about so I really you talk about, as an entrepreneur, group coaching scales more. I'm really curious about the results and impact because the difference like for clients they want to see, they always want to see what's in it for them. So what are the results and impact of one-on-one coaching versus group coaching from the client's perspective?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. And it was something that I had some resistance to at first. I'm like, oh gosh, my clients aren't going to want a group program. They want me. Like your ego is like, I'm the one that helps them. But what I realized and when I observed my own behavior was I actually got more out of group experiences because I didn't just have access to one person, the one coach, the one mentor, but I had this amazing network of people who were smart, had expertise of their own, could make referrals and introductions, had really, really great business minds as well. And that whole dynamic was supporting me in my business. And honestly, coming out of some of those programs, the most valuable thing that I took from them, yes, I learned strategies and things were helpful in that realm, but it was those connections and those, friendships that I carried forward, and people being advocates and referral sources for my business. That was really, really powerful. And something else that I found is that it's not always the case, but when you're working one-to-one, the client can become very dependent on you. They're kind of hoping that you're going to be this, magician that magics the answers and magics the solutions for them. But when you have a group program, when someone invests in that, they're showing up understanding that they're not your sole focus. And I've really seen this trend where I am attracting such high quality, self-accountable clients because they're attracted to that group dynamic. And that works better for me and my style of coaching. I love those people who are empowered and ready to do the work.
Yeah, which brings us to my next question, follow-up question is client selection, because I've noticed that I do more brand building now, but in my earlier days, I was doing one-on-one and I was like, yeah, this is great, but it's a lot of times it's exhausting. But talk about client selection, because I've found that if you charge lower prices, you get more people, but the quality is not very good. But if you charge higher prices, you may get less clients, but the clients are really good. So talk about kind of high ticket coaching and client selection and how you use that to screen people.
Yeah, absolutely. So I exclusively, when I work with my clients inside my program, we help them create high ticket programs. This isn't something where you're coming in and creating a $50 a month membership or something like this. We're really looking at something that you're going to charge around $1,000 a month for. So if it's 3 months long, around $3,000, 6 months long, 6,000. So these are high ticket price points. And you're absolutely right. When it comes to the selling process, what I've found is, we think that by charging less money, it's going to, first of all, be easier to make sales. And that's really not the case. I mean, maybe if you're charging $5, it's easier. But if you're charging $500 versus $5,000, there's still all the stuff that's going to come up in the client that you have to work through, meeting those objections. And they're less invested. Literally, the client who invests more is more invested. They're more dedicated. And we've all had this experience, right? If you get something cheap or inexpensive, or you feel like you got it for a steal, you probably aren't going to value that quite as much as something that you've really taken the time to consider. It was an investment, but you're really excited about it. You're going to make that a priority. And I find when it shakes out that the work and the headache of converting the clients that you're, wanting a deal, who want the cheap coaching versus converting those maybe less, but high quality clients at the higher ticket price point, you're going to be far more profitable. And you're also going to enjoy your work more because you're not going to be working with people that just aren't really a good fit for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, it's the counterintuitive. It's like, always, think about, it's like, it's like really weird. And then once I started increasing my prices, I was like, wow, your sales increased and you're like happier and you're more, you see more results from the clients. So talk about, a high ticket group coaching program and what are some key elements to include in those?
Yes. So something that I've found over the years in working with so many people creating group programs is when they first think about making a group program, they want to put so much into it. They're like, I'm going to bonus them all 6 one-on-one sessions with me. And I'm going to, make a retreat that they can all come in. It's like, they're trying to compensate, right? They're like, oh my gosh, I can't charge this amount of money for a group program. I need to add in all the bells and whistles. But what I've really found, and again, when I reflect upon what I desire when I invest in a program, is not the most amount of stuff, but the clearest, most strategic, simplest path forward. I want to know that they're going to lay it out for me step by step and that it's going to be really easy to move through. Maybe there'll be challenges along the way, but that's what the community and the coach are there for. And so I really encourage when we design programs alongside our clients is that they think about the most streamlined, elegant path that they can carve out And actually, most of the time, that means lifting things out. As they develop their curriculum, they're like, I have 37 modules. It's like, okay, let's parse that down. Let's cull it down. Let's really get to the essence here of what they truly need and nothing more, because that's what makes a really powerful experience. And that's what gets your clients results, not just giving them everything and tons of access to you, but setting those healthy boundaries and really creating a thoughtful, cohesive program that's going to get them those results.
Yeah. The other thing that came to my mind while you were talking is, it's basically group and then you coaching. So talk about the difference between doing it on Zoom. I know they have retreat. I know people are doing retreats, masterminds, events. What is the difference? Should you include all of them? What are your thoughts on, just because essentially it's a group, but you're doing it different ways, but
exactly. Yeah, there are a lot of formats, and that's one of the beautiful things. You can really tailor it to your strengths. But at its essence, what we encourage our clients to think about is, again, starting with that backbone of one Zoom call a week. And so let's say you've got a 3-month program, 12 weeks, you've got that one Zoom call a week, so 12 weekly calls. I highly recommend doing a private onboarding call with each client, maybe 20 minutes. It doesn't have to be this like 90-minute deep dive, but just a moment where the two of you can be face-to-face, one-on-one, connect, build up that know, like, and trust factor, and set the tone for the program. And then usually either having a little touch-base call, again, 15, 20 minutes midway through or at the end, is a really nice way to include some of those high touch points without it being a real drain on your time and energy. I also really love building in a community aspect. And so the simplest way would be like, host your weekly calls on Zoom, get a Facebook group. These are platforms that you can use for free most of the time, unless you're like really growing. And it's really simple. Everyone knows how to use these things. As you grow your program, we've migrated over to a course platform, Circle, which houses the community, the coursework, and we can do our weekly calls there. So there's always ways to upgrade and tweak. But essentially, in the beginning, I always recommend keeping it simpler and then layering on as you go, as you see what your clients are asking for, what they're really desiring, and also teaching it live in the beginning, because a lot of times as you develop a program, you're going to get really valuable feedback. But if you pre-create your entire curriculum and pre-record all your videos and do all the worksheets, you're going to, at some point in there, you're going to wish you had some wiggle room to course correct, because you're going to be getting really valuable feedback. So I always recommend teaching it live the first time or two, so you really have a sense of what people are needing. And then if you're interested, you could maybe record some of the curriculum in advance and people could watch that, and your weekly coaching call could just be more of a Q&A rather than a training call.
Yeah, I love that. And kind of we have around 5 minutes left. Talk about some of the success stories from your clients, and because I know you've been doing this since 2015, and what is your ideal client? People that are listening to this say to me like, oh, I want to join this community, or how can talk about kind of selling your program to the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. No, happy to share that. Yes. So when we partner with a client, we work with them for 6 months. And during that time, our goal is to help them get clarity about their program, develop their whole program, the curriculum, the price point, dial in all the marketing, launch their beta. So like the first time, and make money within those 6 months. So it's a really beautiful accelerated timeline where you're being held in this supportive space and seeing all these other people alongside you have these wins and these experiences. For the most part, people design their program in about the first month, and then they go into the launch phase for month 2 and 3. And at that point, it's really exciting. We have clients who are making, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 and upwards on those initial launches of their program, which is so awesome to see. And the people that we work with in our program, we kind of have two different camps. We have those individuals who are already coaches, who are doing one-to-one work, who are like, I'm burnt out, I need a different way, I'm ready to transition my business model from one-to-one coaching to group coaching. So that's sort of one client base that we serve. And then there's the other group who are usually experienced professionals who have a lifetime of knowledge, and they're like, I'm done with the 9 to 5. I'm done with the corporate. I'm ready to take my skill set and teach people in a new way that serves me better, is a better fit for my lifestyle, is more fulfilling. And, for those individuals, we help them make that transition as well. So it's exciting. We kind of meet you where you're at and then help you build that program out from there.
Yeah. And ending it, because your why is your family and your kids, and ultimately being a mom, and this entrepreneurial venture is more just kind of to help sustain your why. So talk about, like, ultimately, the ultimate meaning, and how to use business and to fuel and fund your quality of life.
Yes, that's such an important thing for me. And that's something that we see reflected in so many of our clients as well, is that yes, they want to be successful. Yes, they want to make a lot of money, but underneath that, what's really driving it is this desire for time freedom, this desire to have space and time and energy to enjoy with the people they love, doing the things they love. And there's such an amazing opportunity in the world right now, right? We have these beautiful tools that connect us with people all around the world. It makes it so easy to share our knowledge. Most of them are free or really inexpensive, and people are hungry for knowledge, right? And we always have gifts to give. I think every single person out there has something that is meant to be shared with the world. And so I think giving yourself permission, if you're feeling called to share something of value with the world, like, it is such an amazing time to step into it. And if you can do it in a way that's in alignment with your values and your family, that's, just the icing on the cake. And honestly, I mean, my coaching business, I run pretty much in, 3 days a week, part-time hours while my girls are at school. And it gives me that opportunity to, like, get them on the bus in the morning, get them off the bus in the afternoon, take vacations. Next week, we're actually heading to Paris for the week. And, it's just so wonderful to be able to set your own schedule and have that time freedom. It's the real, like, I feel like true success is when you reach that level of time freedom and
Yeah.
feel supported there.
I love that. And how can people, because if they want to do what you're doing and resonate with you, join your community coaching, how can they reach out to you, follow you, check out your social media work, and so on?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to connect with anyone who's interested in learning more about creating group coaching programs. I have a great free training. It's called How to Make 100K a Year with One Zoom Call a Week. And you can find that over on my website, CailenAscher.com. And I'm on Instagram at Cailen.Ascher, and would love to connect with anyone who's interested in this and, making a lifestyle business that supports them.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed this conversation, and be sure to give Cailen's socials a like and follow, join her community if it resonates with you, and reach out to her. And thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks, Chris. Really enjoyed it.